Good evening, traders. It's Mark here from the day trading room. The time is 10 o'clock in the evening, London time, on Sunday evening, 6th of March 2011. Quick review of Friday's trades. I guess the theme really for me was, or the thing to take away from Friday was too many trades. And in actual fact, that was probably the case throughout the week. And it didn't really dawn on me until sort of towards the end of Friday that I'd actually been taking far too many trades, far too many trades. And actually, although the hit rate, excuse me, was relatively high, and I can't complain, the fact that I'm taking so many trades means I'm actually not being very efficient with the aware trades. I think I commented about it in one of the videos about the efficiency and one of the down moves. I was doing a lot of scalping on the short side, coming out into sort of little flushes downwards and then re-entering. But that's absolutely fine, and that is something that I'm comfortable with. But I looked at my commission bill last week, and it needs to be cut. It needs to be cut. So I think going forward next week, I'm going to look to take fewer trades, but I'm going to look to capitalise on the move. Not be so keen to come out quickly, um, and just try and wait for the sweet spots. I'm going to adjust my size slightly, increase it very slightly, and reduce the quantity of trades. So we'll see how I get on with that. But at the end of the day, if I'm making money, I don't want to meddle with it too much. It's got a good formula going on, a good little system with oil. Don't want to play with it too much, but I'm trying to improve, as we all are. Every year we go by trading, we're always trying to be better and get better at our craft of trading. So anyway, that's enough of that. Let's talk about some of the oil. Yeah, lots and lots of trades for me. A little scalp. Let's go straight from the open one here. They seem to like to do this actually. They like to do this when it opens above or near a key level. They like to push it down below it. So it's a little scalp on the short side there. Another scalp on the short side here. This was a little stop out here. I was taking the looking for it to push through that level there. We'd push down. We'd push down again. This was quite a decent push here, and it was a pullback and a little pause we had, and I just thought it was going to blow through. They got to stop out on that. And actually, that's something else to look at my trades during the week. A couple of unnecessary stop outs where I've always looked for the push. Excuse me, and the market isn't always in that sort of phase. Pretty trending actually on Friday. Bit of a steady trend all the way up, rather than the sort of moves we were getting several weeks ago, which was a real good pushes up, then the savage pullbacks, consolidation pushes up, and if you got on one of those breaks, you'd get 50 cents out of it. There's a couple of videos I did where I was getting some great trade, but I think that's not normal. That's not the normal type of trade. Mustn't forget this is quite news driven at the moment. A fair bit of panic and fear in the oil market. So I think that's another thing to add to the week. Not be so keen and aggressive for pushing those trades. So yeah, a couple of shorts, a little stop out here, a little long here. We'd broken this high. We'd pull back slightly, and then I'm in again looking for the pop higher. That was a nice 25 center, and I was trying to hold some of the position for a good move up. I've still got a long bias on oil at that point. No reason to not have. Looking for it to go to the next whole number, the 104 at that point. Why not? Why not? There's plenty of. It's a feasible target, should I say? It's a feasible target. Didn't get that, so took a stop at break even on that. Then we were chopping around. It looked like we were testing these lows here. Didn't get involved in any of this stuff really. Then the volume came in. Up we went. Popped up. Jumped on this as it looked like we were going to break through the high. Scaled out into the high. This was a short actually. It was just we'd pushed up again, and I just thought, okay, this was range bound trade here at the moment. We had pushed out the range, and my sort of theory was we may pull back into the range. So I scaled out there, but then when we were consolidating above that last high, which was there, uh, that was the last high there, and also obviously before the open there, and when we were consolidating above it, and we weren't pushing below it. As soon as I saw the buy stepping again with a little bit of volume, I'm in on that. And then just scaling out into the highs, especially as it was a 104. I didn't get above 104 because I was trying to let it run for a little bit more. Thought there'd be a bit more panic and we'd get a flush higher. Didn't, so I ended up coming out as we came back below the 104. So, but nevertheless, that was a good trade. This was all just pretty choppy stuff, really. It was quite snappy. In hindsight, it looks okay, little pullbacks, but considering where we were relative to the day, there's the high, there's the low. This is still mid-range stuff, and even though there was this sort of move, I couldn't get a good read on it. So I didn't get involved. And this was just rubbish. All this stuff here was absolute rubbish. The funny thing was, if you're watching the tape and you weren't actually looking at the position of the price relative to the day's range, you could have quite easily got sucked into all sorts of stuff on that. That's the only thing about watching the tape. You've got to watch it at your key levels when you're about to take a trade, when you're thinking that there's a possible trade on, because otherwise it just drive you crazy. So all that was just rubbish. I shouldn't have really taken this buy. It was only because we'd popped above that there's a little tape seller there. He really wasn't that significant. I shouldn't have taken it. I got away with it, and actually worked out okay because we did break the high, and I managed to scale out another batch there. But I don't know how good the odds were of that really in hindsight. But hey, it puts them in the bank. Shorting this double top or lower high. Tape support there, you can just about see actually on the chart. I mean, if you're not looking at the tape, or you don't want to look at the tape, you just want to look at the chart. Come on, you can see sometimes the solid support where it won't even dip below, or it would dip below like one tick before holding, and then you can see that when it breaks there, that's the guy lifting, and he comes back on, and then it's anyone's guess. So that was a little short based on the lower high. Again, this was the 104 level. Don't forget, nice whole number psychology. 104. Pushed up, we'd push back to it, push below it again. So if anyone guess, anyway, I took a little short on that. Another long as we dipped under the 104 and then put this wick in and started to push straight back up. It was okay because the stop was very sensible. We dipped under. There's the 104 holding. We dipped under, put the wick in, and there's my buy, and my stop can be here. With no problem at all. Looking for still an hour and a half left, potential drive higher. That's the premise. We did get it. I sat with that for a while. We got it. Scaled some out and scaled some up into these highs, and then I was holding some, looking for new highs. Didn't get it. So there was the exit on the last batch. So that was okay. These two trades are okay. This next trade was the trade of the day for me. I'd waited for some sort of counter trend move, and actually throughout the whole of the day and probably the week, I've been more looking for tape buys or tape sells into strength, or to get into sort of front run the panic, if you like, to try and not guess, but front run the breakout and then scale out into the breakout. I hadn't really been trading oil in a cycle motion, waiting for those pullbacks. If this had been the Dow, if you look at the 3-minute here, if this had been the Dow, I'd have been all over this. I'd have been absolutely all over it. Which is why when we started to pull back, I just thought, look at the situation we're in. We've come up so far. Several days of really strong trending up. We're now above that spike high from last Thursday at 103.50, was it? So, it's bullish. Any counter trend move, you should be looking to buy. So I ended up buying here, and actually this is what I'm going to try and take into next week, is looking for the better buys, the better trades, ones that we can really run. And this was the trade of the week. A nice one, and I did an extra one here, but nice one to sort of finish the week on. We put in a low here, we put the lower low in, I saw the strength, I took the buy, the stop was going to be below that. We pushed up. I've got my first scale out here as we poked above the 104. Very nice. I'm still holding the majority of the position. I'm only scaling a small amount and I'm holding the majority of the position. Pull back under here. I'm thinking, okay, I'm tightening my stop up now to break even. Might have been a bit higher. It wasn't far off getting stopped. Might work on that, whether to take all of it to break even or just some, but we'll see. Pull back, pushed above the 104 again pretty quickly. Pushed higher. I ended up getting spoofed out by this. That was the last high. Pushed higher, then pulled back immediately, and I thought, okay, I'll take another one off the table. So I took another one off the table there. Still a nice 30-something cent trade. Held one, definitely pulled that stop up then to break even and sat with it. And sure enough, we pushed up, and I had a resting order in at 54, I believe. Might have been a little bit less than that. I was using this Keltner again. I can't quite remember without going back, but I was using this Keltner. Yeah, 54. There we go. It was 54. I am correct. Good. Using this Keltner as a target, and at that point it was 54, which was around the it wasn't moving much from there. We pushed up. I think the higher that move, I was 60, so not far off the top. Bit of luck really, but I was just looking for that move, push up, had the order rest in there, got the fill on that. Great trade, back from the low 70s up to 54 in the last. That's the sort of trades I want more of that sort of thing. Less of this sort of scalping, which racks up your commissions. It's great, it's fine, but it's high intensity. This sort of stuff's more relaxing. It's more profitable, and it's the sort of thing you can scale up dramatically, as required. You start trying to throw around serious numbers of contracts, taking 10 cents off the table, and you're going to struggle. So they're a great trade to end the week really. I took one more little scalp here as we push lower. I just thought we'd have one more pop. We got the one more pop. Took a scaled half on that, and then stop out. I had a break even, but a bit of slippage cost me a few ticks on that. But I don't even know why I took that. I guess I was hoping for one more pop. Again, fell back into the trap of looking for the pop. So that's a trade of the day for me. That really good. Very quickly on the Dow. I did do some good stuff on the Dow. First pull back here, short, didn't make as much of it as I should have done. Ticks pulled back to 0 after being very low. There's my short entry, and I'm just exiting into the new lows as it just appeared to start to pop back up. There wasn't much in that, but okay nevertheless. Took a solid stop out on this one. Drove low ticks. I thought we were just in my little window, my little midday window at New York time, and we had a flush lower and there was a good low tick, so I like to take those. Took that, started to push back up, thought great, we could get a nice cycle back up to the VWAP. There's my target, or at least this low anyway, so around that sort of level. Pushed up, no scales at all, and then it just started to roll over, and then the premise of the trade is no longer valid. That's the point. Even though whatever you think about it, the premise of that trade is no longer valid. So take the loss, get out, take the loss, reassess. So I took a stop out there as we broke that low. Fine, no problem. And then we started pushing down, and we keep pushing, and we're still pushing. I'm thinking this is quite a big move here. I think at some point there'll be some support, especially as if we look at the Dow. Hopefully you can see this. This is from one of my other screens. Don't know if this is very clear or not. We'd push below that 12,100, and we come so far. This is the cash, by the way, below that 12,100, and we come so far. So when we're below that 12,100, I'm looking for the buy. I take a small buy here, thinking I am stepping in front of a train a little bit, but okay, I can afford to have a wide-ish stop on this. I can afford to scale in and use a wider sort of stop. We're below the 12,100. I'm expecting to get a scale as we at least push back over. So as we push low here, I also started looking at the ticks as well, guys. The ticks have been too low readings. Then we pushed again, nothing seriously, so I'm in. I'm still in. My stop's reasonably wide. We pushed again, formed that little wick, pushed back up, ticks again not very low, added again, scaled that off as we pushed higher to reduce my risk. So I'm reducing that risk, taking a scale, putting some in the bank, sitting with the core position, and then as we pushed up, I'm hoping for a nice counter trend cycle up, and we just didn't get it. We didn't get it. These pushed up here, and it became overbought really about this point. So I took another scale here, and then it's all out there. So it didn't work out as I'd liked, but it was still a good trade. It was still a good trade. So that's that really. Next week, yep, be focusing on oil again and the Dow as usual. Both offering opportunities. Going to try to reduce the number of trades on oil. That's the goal for next week. Reduce that commission bill. My broker is smiling. I mean, I'm still smiling because I'm making money, but I think my broker can have a little bit less this week. So hopefully we'll look for those longer trades. I don't think there's any need to be trading more than 5 or 6 times on oil a day unless it goes really, really crazy. But we'll see. Good trading, guys. We're back with another video probably excuse me, Tuesday of next week.